Week 6 of the Premier League is upon us and there are still 4 undefeated teams in the league. But will this still be the case come the end of the weekend? Welcome to my predictions for Week 6 on the Footy Network. Good morning, good evening, or good night. Hope you guys are doing well, and welcome to my predictions on this week, week 6 of the Premier League. If you're enjoying the content, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the Footy Network if you are new, and don't forget, if you want to grab yourself a deal on Surfshark, especially if you've got Netflix, make sure to use code FFTV and you'll get 4 months extra free. And because, like I said, if you have Netflix, set your country to the USA and you unlock all the box office that they get that we don't get across the pond over here. So scan this QR code right here or click on the link that's in the description. Okay, let's get into the predictions and let's kick off with the early start as always. And this week it's Newcastle versus Manchester City. All right, so Newcastle were one of the teams that were undefeated until they took a 3-1 L to Fulham last weekend. And now it doesn't get much tougher than Manchester City coming in. After a late equaliser against Arsenal last week, Manchester City are feeling quite buoyant. Apparently they're winning their court case currently with the Premier League. And I think they'll end up winning on the pitch as well. I don't see Newcastle clicking into high gear yet. They've done very well to go undefeated until they did, but it wasn't down to outstanding football. There was a couple of results that I think the Bournemouth fans would say that they didn't deserve a point out of those. So in this one, I can see Man City winning. It's getting a bit boring, but I'm going to go 2-1 to Man City. What do you guys reckon? Do you agree with that or not? And up next, we're going to the Emirates, and well, people are calling this one a bloodbath as Steve Cooper is going to take his Leicester team to North London, and Arsenal are still undefeated as well. Can anyone see any way Leicester get a point out of this one? If you do, let me know in the comments down below. Now, what I'd say about Steve Cooper is when he faces Big Six opposition, it actually suits him. He can go into his negative style, he can sit deep, and no one's going to criticize him for it. I don't think Leicester are going to get a tonking in this one, and I think they may get a goal. I can see them going 2-0 down and then getting a consolation goal. So I'm going to stick with that scoreline. I'm going to go Arsenal 2, Leicester 1 for this one. If you guys see it differently, let me know in the comments down below. And then let's talk about West Ham. West Ham, as one of my dear friends calls their new manager, J-Lo, are not starting that well. 1 win this season so far against a Brentford team who I predicted will be in a relegation fight this season. And they've lost their last couple of matches. But West Ham are not firing and they need a result here because there is some pressure increasing on Lopetegui. And he's going to have to start getting it right on the pitch. Can I see him doing it on this one? I'm not fully convinced yet. I think West Ham have got a decent squad. He just hasn't found his starting 11. I'm playing Soucek as a cam, and that one goes over my head. You know what? I'm going for a draw on this one. A score draw. I'm going to go 1 apiece between Brentford and West Ham. Do you guys agree with that? Or can you see Lopetegui getting a result? Let me know, as always, in the comments. And then Chelsea, who are now clicking under Maresca, as I said they would at the start of the season, are undefeated in their last 4. In fact, they've only lost to Manchester City so far this season. And Brighton are turning into the draw specialists, having drawn with Forest, Ipswich, and one before that as well. They still remain undefeated. This, I think, is a team under serious threat of losing or coming out of that 4 that are left undefeated. And I see Chelsea winning this one. And in fact, I see them winning it quite comfortably, as I think Brighton will try and play a high line, but I don't think it will work. Chelsea, to me, are clicking right now, and I'm going to go 2-0 to Chelsea. And that brings us on to Goodison Park, where it is heavily toxic right now. John Dyche can't buy a win, but was able to get a point away at the King Power last week, even though they should have won that game. That's God knows how many points Everton have thrown from a winning position this season. They've done it against Bournemouth earlier on, even against Aston Villa, and then against Leicester last weekend. Crystal Palace have been able to stem the flow of losses from their earlier start this season, got a good draw against Manchester United at Selhurst Park. This one looks like an ugly match, I'm not going to lie to you. If Everton lose this one, that surely has to be the end of the road for Dyche. But I got a little feeling Everton may get something out of this match. I'm not certain. I don't know if this is stupid to do, but all bad runs have to end at some point. I'm going to go 2-1 to Everton. Just got a little feeling that Dyche is going to pull a rabbit out of his backside. What do you guys think? Probably going to be my one wrong result of the weekend. And then to the most important fixture of the weekend, we go to Forest hosting Fulham at the City Ground this weekend. Forest still undefeated. Fulham, though, are quietly going about their business into the top 10, having beaten Newcastle 3-1 last weekend. This is going to be an extremely tight match, and one that I'm not sure who wins, loses, or draws. I think all outcomes are possible. I mean, they always are in football, aren't they? But this is a very, very evenly matched game. I think Forest will just about take this due to home advantage. That's the only thing I can see separating it, but I don't see many goals in this one. I'm going to go 1-0 to Forest, and I think Silva has a point to prove after he got schooled last season at the City Ground, conceding loads of goals in the first half and putting on 3 subs after about 28 minutes. So this one may be a game to watch for. Very, very evenly matched. Come on, Forest. No bias here. Let's move on to Wolves against Liverpool, and Wolves just can't get a break. Still without a win this season. 1 point on the board against Forest a few weeks ago, and coming up against the Liverpool team who have only dropped points against Forest. This on paper looks like a slam dunk Liverpool win, but I don't think Wolves have been playing that bad. I just think they haven't got the mentality to win at the moment, and until they break that voodoo, I can't see them getting a win against Liverpool. I don't think this is the game where it happens. They are playing well. Cunha is still on fire, but they just can't put the points on the board. I'm going to give this one to Liverpool, but I do expect Wolves to score. I'm going to go 3-1 to Liverpool on this one because Wolves just keep collapsing late on in games. Just a quick reminder as well, if you haven't already, please do make sure you've hit that like button and subscribed. As we move on to Ipswich and Villa. Ipswich is slowly going about collecting a few points here and there. 3 draws in their last 3 games, undefeated, I'm sure the Ipswich fans will say, in their last 3. Against a Villa who are flying high in the league and doing well as well in Europe. On paper again, this looks like an easy win for Villa, but I think it will be tight and I don't think there'll be many goals in this. But I do see Villa getting a goal in this game, and I think that will be enough. And I'm going to go 1-0 to Villa. Could be more, could be less, I don't know. I'm just going with my gut feeling. And then on to the Sunday games, as Manchester United will host Tottenham after their embarrassing draw with FC 20p. In Europe during the week. They need to put a few things right, having not been able to score against Palace either. This is Ten Hag again under early pressure this season. With Tottenham up and down, you never know what you're going to get with them. Winning last weekend, but losing the 2 before, drawing a Leicester early season. It's roll the dice when it comes to Spurs. I think this one ends up on as even, and I think both managers will secretly take a draw because they need the points right now. But I think that would still put Ten Hag under a lot of pressure. With some hard fixtures coming up for United, they're going to need all 3 points. But I'm putting this one as a 1-1 draw. But I'm not convinced. I'm still not convinced in Ten Hag. And then we move on to the Bournemouth match. Bournemouth will take on Southampton, a South Coast derby, even though they don't really have a rivalry. And Bournemouth are flattering to deceive at the moment for me. I think they have better players than their results are dictating. With only 1 win so far this season, can Bournemouth be the kings of the South Coast? Southampton still looking for a win. Very late against Ipswich, they suffered that late equaliser and weren't able to put their first win on the board. I don't know about this one. It ain't one that I'm going to be setting my alarm clock to. I can tell you that much. I'm going for another draw. I think it will be 1-1 as well on this one. And now this is the Monday night match. I have no idea. But that brings you up to speed with my predictions. Do you agree with them, or are there any changes you would make? Or have I got any of them really, really wrong? Let me know in the comments down below. If you haven't already, please don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed to TFN if you're new here. We'll see you on the next video for the weekend review. Have a good day.